Hey y'all, it's Michelle from the Scattered Scrapper. Welcome to my channel. Today is day 9 of Scrap-O-Ween, and it is Killikit Sunday. I've got my pictures picked out, I've got some papers and other things picked out. I have my kit right next to me over here. And also today I'm using the 30 Days of Sketches with Christy's Beautiful Life. This sketch here created by Jenessa Franco. And I am loving all the little embellishments here, and this kind of like a strip of papers and photos. So I can't wait to get started with that. So let's get started. For my background, I'm going to be using this piece of Basil Red Basil cardstock. And on the screen it looks really, really bright, but it's not really that bright. But then I also have this piece of pattern paper in this beautiful green color with the pattern. It's got leaves and little acorns. It's so cute. And it is called Fall Harvest from the Hello Autumn collection from Cartabella. So I get that trimmed down, and then I've got my pictures here that I need to trim because they're 4x4, but that's too big, so I have to trim them all down. And then I also have this 3x4 card that says pumpkin scarves, colored leaves, apples, harvest, pumpkin pie, hot, hay rides. Oh, I see. Hay rides, hot chocolate, crisp air, and fuzzy sweaters. And I was thinking about using that as part of my title. And that's why I have it down here where it shows the title in the sketch. Because where it shows the journaling part of the sketch, I have another card that's a 4x6 card that I've got a recipe on. Because my pictures are pictures of some jam that I make, maybe every other year in the fall, because it's called Autumn Cranberry Pear Jam. And it's so good. And these are just pictures of the jars after they came out of the canner, and a little bit of jam that was left over that wouldn't fit in a jar in a little bitty bowl that I have there. And of course my canner on my stove. And this jam is quite popular, if I do say so myself. Now, of course, it's not my recipe. It is a ball recipe from the complete, the Ball Complete Guide to Home Preservation. That's what it is. So I make up a whole bunch of this stuff, and then I give it out as people are needing some. So as they run out, they just say, hey, I need some more. So I'm like, well, here you go. So I decided to do a layout about that and how it is many people's favorite jam. Let's see, where am I at? Okay, so I have this strip of paper here, and I looked through the 6x6 paper pad to see if there were any that I wanted to use there, but all of the prints were small and close together, and I felt like it was too busy on top of my background paper. So even though it's a light print that is in my background, it still looks a little bit busy. So to have another busy pattern on top of it was too much for me. So this paper here with the leaves on it has much more white space. So that to me feels not as cluttered, maybe. So I'm going to get all of that situated and kind of figuring out how I want it to go. So now I'm like, okay, I got to start gluing stuff down before I get any further. How pretty is that? Oh my goodness. All of those different fall little icons and things with the truck and the harvest baskets. That's so pretty. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this glued down where I want it. And now I kind of fuss around with these for a little bit. In the sketch, the pictures kind of have a little bit of a gap in between them. So I'm trying to figure out how I can fit everything in, because my pictures are a little bit bigger than what the sketch calls for, but I also have to make room for this 4x6 card. And it says our fall favorites, and then I have the list of ingredients for the recipe, and I have on the bottom over for instructions. So what I need to do is figure out how to make this easy to take out. So just in case we don't have the recipe with us for some reason, but we do have this layout, you can pull it out and have the recipe for the jam. So I want to make it a little bit more interactive. So I go ahead and staple this ribbon onto the top. And while I'm still trying to think, how am I going to make a little pocket or something? So at first I was thinking I would make the strip of paper that I just pushed to the left. I was thinking that somehow I would make that and the photos into some type of a pocket or a little tuck space for me to tuck that into. But I quickly, as I'm putting this together, reject that idea. I don't think that's going to work. I had thought about tucking it in between the red background paper and the green background paper, but then I was like, well, no, because I want the 4x6 card to be part of kind of my embellishing of my paper. So I'm just like, what to do? And then as I'm putting these down, I'm like, this card here in the bottom, there's not going to be room for the rest of what I wanted my title to say, which was, after you read that whole list on that card, I was going to put, and Autumn Cranberry Pear Jam. But that is not going to fit down there anywhere. So I did kind of put it kind of wonky. So I'm going to have it at a little bit of an angle and hanging off the side of the page there. But I have not got it glued down yet. So I have not put any ATG on it. And then here I go ahead and put my pictures down, trying to make sure that I have that little bit of a gap, because I do like to have the paper showing through in between those pictures. And I thought that was a neat design idea from the sketch. But I decided I had put them down a little bit too far. And then now I have them all situated, and I have the spot where I want my 4x6 card to go, and I tuck my little 3x4 card down here. So instead of it being my title, it's just going to be like my subtitle. It's going to sit there and be part of the embellishments. So I go ahead and I get everything situated, and I pulled out some jelly bean soup red alphas, and I've got my title, the Autumn Cranberry Pear Jam, and I have this die here that is a mason jar. So of course I am going to try and use it on this layout since I am talking about canning. And this particular paper here is so cute. It's just all kinds of crates full of harvest. There's some that have apples in it, some that have looks like maybe corn, some that have carrots in it, and also pears. So I most definitely was wanting to get the little crates with the pears in them, since this is a pear jam. And I'm going to use this light orange piece of paper here to make my top. And I have found that this little sidekick die cutter thing has come in so much handy. Apparently, I have a lot of smaller dies. I do have some bigger ones, and I do use my Big Shot, but when I'm just kind of throwing something together that I just need a really quick little thing like this little sidekick it really comes in handy for jobs like this. So I'm going to go ahead and glue this little top down to my mason jar. And I'm going to be using it as part of the pocket for holding my 4x6 card with the recipe on it. So I'm going to get that glued on and situated. And then since I have these papers out, I went ahead and cut 2 more, thinking that I might use them as cluster bases on the rest of my page, but they're a little bit big. So for my pocket, I decided to use this mason jar and then this little label that I cut out from another piece of paper. And I just used an Ellie Studio die set for some labels. So I'm going to make sure that it'll fit back in, and it's a little tight there, so I go ahead and kind of rough the edge up a little bit so that it's lifted up and this will fit in nice and snug. So I've got that there, and then I was like, I don't like those staples really showing through, so I put this little glittery pumpkin on top. And now I'm just going to look for some finishing touches. I've got these puffy stickers and my enamel dots and this big 12 by 12 sticker sheet that had a crate full of pears. So I definitely had to put that on there. And I looked at the puffy stickers several times, but there's not really anything on there that that goes with my canning story. But I am looking through this sticker sheet again in hopes of there being some more pear items. But no, not on the 12 by 12. So I put that aside. And I pull out the die cuts. And I had fussy cut some of these florals from one of the papers. And I'm like, ooh, these would be perfect for the 3 different spots that are on the sketch for clusters. So I've got kind of a medium-sized one over there with my mason jar and my crate of pears, and then I have a bigger one over there by the 3x4 card, and I wanted a little something more there, and I try out this heart, or this little circle with the heart on it, and I like the idea of something there, but I didn't like how close the colors were between that circle with the heart on it and the 3x4 card. So I pull out my sticker book, and there's a ball jar. Look at there. So of course I have to pull that out and use it. And there's another crate with some pears in it. So yay! I have another one of those. So I'm going to pull that out. And I thought about using one of these little tags that said favorite, or the little flags. And I would have if the fishtails were pointing to the left. But all of them were pointing to the right. Because I would have put it up there in the top right hand corner with that smaller little floral. And I didn't want the fishtail to be covered up. So I just decided to not do anything up there with that. And my ball jar, I'm going to pop up on some of this leftovers from these little foam circles. So I go ahead and just little teeny bits and pieces I put all over the back of it and get that popped up. And then I want to put that, I was thinking about putting that other crate of pears sticker in the upper right hand corner, but I decide instead to put it down beside the ball jar in this lower right. Right there. There we go. I think that small flower spray or whatever it is, grouping of flowers up in the upper right is just enough. So now I was going to put some enamel dots, but then I was like, well, let me go ahead and put my title in first before I start doing those finishing touches. And I can't figure out exactly where I want to put my title, so I try it out in several different spots, but it does just end up right there because I think it's the easiest to see, and it just kind of works right there. So I'm just going to get those down. There we go. And now I can put my enamel dots, and I decided to use this orange ones. I really wish that I had some more of those really darker, deeper red colored enamel dots, but I didn't have enough, so I went with the orange, and I'm just going to put a little bit in the 3 different cluster areas. Get those in there. Yep, get that situated and making sure everything's nice and down. And then I'm gonna put on some splatters. And guess what? I'm not using the Tim Holtz Distress Mica Stains on this layout. Nope, I'm using my Heidi Swap Color Shine that's almost empty. Oh, I'm so sad. But I did not use the Distress Mica Stains because I didn't feel like any of the colors really went. Not with this layout. I probably could have done the Burning Ember because it is such a pretty orange, but I was afraid it would be a little too much. So I went ahead with my gold color shine, and I think it was just the perfect touch. So that is going to do it. I hope everyone is enjoying their day. I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure you check the links down below to everyone else who is playing along with 30 Days of Sketches and see what they're up to. And I will see you probably tomorrow in the next video for Scrap-O-Ween Day 10. It is Mysterious Monday and it's the Grab 5. I'll see you then. Bye-bye.